Welcome to our next edition of Between Two Vines. Today I have Mr. Pierce with me. Welcome, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's a pleasure to have you here with me. I have some questions for you because our community wants to get to know you a little bit better here as you serve Vine High School as the newest AP. What motivated you to become a school administrator?
Um, I would have to say I kind of feel like I was born to lead. It's been since a little kid actually. I've always been like the person to go to in my family, whether it was issues going on with them, um, sports. Now up into my career now. Also, at one point in my career, I can remember standing in the gymnasium during my prep. The kids were eating lunch, and another colleague of mine. We've been friends since we were kids, and she and I was talk. We were talking about how difficult it was to make that jump to the next stage to be an administrator. And she said to me, "James, you are a leader. You've always been a leader," and that kind of stuck with me. And my wife as well, she's always pushing me to become better and to keep going. And I'm a lifelong learner, so I just felt like this was the next stage in my career that I needed to jump on.
That's excellent, right? So just seeing yourself as a leader, having others identify you as a leader, and then coming from Bridgeton, where you served as a phys ed teacher, and you started your career here with us as a middle school assistant principal with Mr. Bermudez.
Hmm.
But then we promoted you up to the high school because we needed your strength here at the high school. So it's nice when you have people really cheering you on and backing you up as a if they're your mentor or
Hmm.
your colleague, whatever it may be. But it's good to have that positive force behind you.
Yeah, I got some really good people in my corner. The few people that want you to do well. Um, they pretty much they provide me those positive feedback moments. They also criticize me when I need to be criticized as well too. So, and I'm always open to take it all. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
That's wonderful. So thinking about your current assignment here at Vaughn High School South with our
Mhm.
11th and 12th graders, can you describe the culture that you've seen here, the unique culture of this school?
It's welcoming. I know there's always a good and a bad side to everything, but for the most part, all the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion. Just being able to speak to any person walking through the hallway and you start to get to know those people, and you figure out that they are a different culture or from a different culture, and just the differences that they bring to the table that allows you to learn and to keep growing as a person, as a professional. I love it. I love to be able to. I love talking to people. I know. I think I said that in the interview when I first got brought over to here that I have no problem with building relationships with other people. So when I'm in that mode, that's what I love doing, and the culture here has been very welcoming to me.
Thinking of building relationships, right? It's important. It's critical as an administrator. Name some strategies or how are you conducting yourself on a day-to-day to develop those positive relationships with students? You talked about
Hmm.
relationships and talking to folks, but is there anything else that you're doing specifically to develop that positive kind of connection?
So one thing that I do is I always try to get out and say good morning to students. I try to make eye contact. I try to smile. And then even when, I'm the vice principal, so a lot of the things I deal with conduct issues when they get brought into my office. So I try not to start the conversation off on a negative note when the students are in my office and when I'm making phone calls home to parents as well. Um, so being optimistic and trying to see the good and trying to look for resolutions and solve issues instead of being punitive and adding on to the the weight that some of these students are carrying. I think that's the thing. Those are the things that I'm trying to do to keep building the culture and to keep building relationships between myself and the rest of the student and staff body here.
I love that, just that positivity,
Hmm.
right? Making that positive connection. Because if you come in with too much negativity, that relationship could be damaged or might not even be formed.
Right.
So that's very powerful. So talk to us a little bit about you haven't been here in this building that long, but
Hmm.
like what are some achievements that you've seen so far, maybe at the interpersonal level with a student, a staff member, or a little bit globally with programs or activities?
So since I got brought up, I know there's been some changes, a few changes with placements, and I know a lot of people don't like change. So when I see someone dealing with the change, I try to have a conversation with them because I myself have just dealt with some change, being thrust into this position from pillar and jumping up here to the high school, and just letting them know that it's not impossible to navigate. You can navigate it, and as long as you look at it in a positive way, you'll be fine. I know on Monday we do have the National Honor Society, so I'm really looking forward to watching those students celebrate those achievements as well.
That's wonderful. If you keep an open mindset, change can be positive. That's what I hear you
Always,
saying. And
always.
I love how you're helping staff and students kind of work through that. As change happens, change can actually bring a lot of growth,
Hmm.
right? How do you encourage students to take an active role in sharing how they feel, what they think, their
Um,
thoughts, their wants and their needs?
get involved. We have a ton of clubs, sports, band. Even if you're just going to watch, just be involved. And if you're involved in the daily activities going on in the building, then you're going to see things that we don't see. So you can bring those ideas to us, and we can try to do whatever we can to make things change and not for the better.
Wonderful. You start talking a little bit about the National Honor Society, our induction ceremonies that we have coming up.
Mhm.
What other ways does the school uh, celebrate student achievement?
Um, So I know toward the end of the year we have all of our banquets for our athletes. So I know that's a big one because all of our athletes are not straight A students. So we look at it on this level as everyone should have a reason to celebrate for something. So we try to hit every group of students to figure out how we can help them celebrate. The career and technical education department, they have a an event coming up at the end of February as well. It's still in the planning, but I think they have it pretty much, all the logistics are handled. We just got to get all the pieces put together to have that event.
That's great. I like how trying to find something to celebrate for every child,
Hmm.
right? Because that's what our children are here to do, right? To learn, to grow, and to be celebrated. Because it is a difficult time
Right.
to be a youngster in our country, in our city, and in our community. How can students and parents, excuse me, how can parents specifically and the community be more engaged in helping us raise the level of achievement and performance at Bond High School South?
I think the same for them. We we want parents to show up. We want them to show out, support all of our students. The events that we have going on, we would like for them to be there. I know I was talking to a staff member here a few weeks ago when the Mr. Vineland was coming up. I think that was on January 11th, and the staff member talked about how that the auditorium used to be packed out and just standing room only. And for the last few years, it hasn't been that way. So if we can get the building back to that level, I think that would be great for not just the students and staff, but the community as a whole.
That's right. And recently, one of the things I noted is that was one of the largest groups I've seen in my short time here in Vineland. So it's starting to build back up with
Mhm.
you here, with Principal Alvarez, uh, and the rest of the administrative team and the staff. I think things are on the upward trend. It's very exciting. Tell us something that maybe we don't know about you that our viewers might find interesting.
um, So one interesting thing, I guess, a lot of students ask me how much I bench press. That's a question I get on. I can't
They
even
don't
tell you
ask
how
me
many
that
times
question. I don't know
how many
why.
times I've been asked that question. And I always respond to them. I don't even go to the gym, and they don't believe me. But I do all my workouts at home. I have 25-pound dumbbells at the house, and I just do body resistance workouts. And that's just and I try to eat right. So I'm off and on with that, but I've been on since the new year started.
Excellent. Excellent. That's great. I can see the kids asking you that question. Maybe we'll have to go to the gym together and
Yeah.
see, who can bench more, right? I'm kidding. But that's great. Physical fitness, having a sharp mind, mental health, right?
Hmm.
And then supporting our kids on a daily basis because this is challenging work. So I'm glad that you shared a little bit about you that our viewers will find interesting. Mr. Pierce, it's been a pleasure speaking with you and having you share your story. Hopefully, in the future, you'll get a chance to come back and tell us about the next part of your journey here as an administrator, as
Hmm.
you continue to look at future opportunities for you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Always an honor.